time stamp thing?
No. How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Rotten Apples Film Review. I'm your host, John Galligan, and guess what? We got another episode of Movie Deathmatch. This one pits two A24 films together, and we're going to see who's going to come out the victor. It is Good Time versus Green Room. All right, let's get right to it. We'll start with Good Time. It's the Safdie brothers. This film filmed almost entirely in Queens, New York. Again, a place where I am from. I definitely enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing the expressway, and I enjoyed seeing a lot of the sights and sounds of New York City, which they definitely capture. Versus Green Room, where it's filmed. I don't really know where, but it's out in the boonies of some podunk town, and it stars a punk rock band, and they get entangled with Nazi skinhead, white power, punk crowd, I guess, for a concert. Both films have some really good acting. On one hand, you got Robert Pattinson. He dials in a very, very solid performance. Green Room has Patrick Stewart, Picard, the meme. I think it's like, why you gotta, the famous Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard meme. Yeah, from Star Trek. So he plays Darcy, and his character, I guess, is a white supremacist, white power. He manages it looks like a punk rock venue or a club where they have a lot of bands play, and it's almost like a bar. And the band is really cool. Anton Yelchin he plays Pat, and Imogen Poots, she plays Amber, and Callum Turner plays Tiger, and they're in a band called the Aren't Rights or the Ain't Rights. They actually say that on stage. They really don't. They say that on stage. They really don't care what they're called. Let's start with the acting, since I'm naming all the actors. Going into the acting, it's really tight. It's really tough. The films are different. Green Room is a horror film, and Good Time is more of a suspense thriller. So the acting, I would say it definitely is gonna lean towards Good Time. I think there's a little more depth to the characters there. Although it is a little bit more true to life, I think Robert Pattinson does an amazing job. I heard somewhere, I could be wrong, but I heard that he did some method acting for this, where he got an apartment in Harlem, and he lived in New York City, and he tried to really get the feel of his character. The acting, I'm going to give it to Good Time on this. I think Patrick Stewart is amazing, Sir Patrick Stewart actually, and I think he and the other actors, the band, they're really well done. But I definitely think Good Time is more of a stronger acting performance. The directing, I'm gonna have to say, man, that one's really tight, because I do like the directing in Green Room. The directing between the two, it's really tight. Jeremy Saulnier, I think I'm spelling that right. I think I really think I'm gonna have to give it to him over the Safdie brothers here for direction, because I think I just think that the suspense and the it just was very believable that they were involved in this situation. They were locked in a room, held hostage by Nazi skinheads with vicious trained attack dogs, and I mean there was some real gutsy performances there. Whereas I think Robert Pattinson, being the method actor that he is, I don't know how much the directing really would have changed. Obviously, the directing is excellent in Good Time. Green Room definitely wins directing. Cinematography, I'm gonna give it to Good Time. I loved the close-ups. I loved the handheld shots. I loved a lot of the sequences on the chase at the end of the film from the top of the building. I thought there was some really good stuff with the amusement park and there's some really good performances there that they got, and I think the cinematography really is what captured them. So I'm going to give it to Good Time. So right now it's 2-1, Good Time. Let's go with the editing. The editing is going to be tight. I'm going to have to say that's a tie. I think so. It would be 3-2 here because the editing to me in both films is pretty damn flawless. I think they really pulled out a great feel for each film, and I don't think the editing could have been done better for either. I think they were really, really well done. I would say the editing is a tie, so 3-2. Um, if I'm gonna go with music, that the music is gonna go with the Green Room because they had some punk rock music and some cool. I heard Slayer being played at one point. I really liked that, and I'm just not a real big fan of what the Safdie brothers choose musically, and Good Time is reflective of Uncut Gem. So, I really didn't like the music there. So I'm gonna have to. Green Room definitely has better music, especially because they got Slayer playing. I mean, I'm a Slayer fan, so I mean, and the punk rock, the band. I really liked the way they played. It was really cool. They got up on stage in front of the Nazis and played like a song that was essentially "fuck you Nazi punks." It was really cool, and I liked that moment. It was a cool moment. Um, so music, I'm going to give it to Green Room. So now we're tied, 3-3. Story, okay, story. That one's gonna have to go with Good Time because Good Time, the story is definitely uh, more relatable. The brother wants to save his brother from prison, who's got a mental disability, and I definitely felt for Robert Pattinson. It's definitely a sadder story, and I think the story is really well done. It's definitely palatable, and you feel it. Whereas the Green Room, the story, there's not much depth to it. They're locked in a room, and the Nazis, they saw a murder. Well, they didn't see the murder. They see the victim when one of the characters goes in the room by accident. The door was supposed to be locked, and it wasn't. She's got a knife in her head, yada yada, and they're locked in the room. So that story, it's they're locked in a room. They need to get out. It's a pretty simple, cut and dry. I think the weakest point is the story, but it makes up for it, which I'll get to next. But I'm going to have to give the story to Good Times. So we're at 4-3. I'm not good at math, so we're getting a little confusing here. But 4-3. So production, and I would say the production design is going to go to Green Room. Why? Because the gore is fantastic. There's some parts in there where I'm just really feeling it. I loved the punk venue. I loved they played it like a. They also played earlier in the movie in it seemed like a little mini restaurant. There was like tables. I'm in a band. My band's called Dead by Choice, and we're not a punk band, but we're a metal band, and we're hard rock. So I've definitely played my share of dumps, dives, and shithole bars and clubs, and I know exactly how that feels. And that they really captured that vibe of that punk rock skinhead Nazi atmosphere, and I really love the production design with that. I love the visual, the visuals. I really enjoyed them, and the gore was just fantastic. It delivered. The dogs, the way they attacked, it was just really well done, and I got to give it to Green Room. So we're tied 4-4. This could be a tie. Man, it's going to be really difficult. What would the overall score here be? I mean, if I could think of another category, 4-4, it's tough. Man, well, Rotten gives it a 91, both Rotten Tomatoes. They give it both a 91. So they're tied there as well. Man, I definitely recommend both films. I think Good Time is more of a 9 out of 10. I think as a complete film, based because the story is better and the acting is superb. The cinematography is better, and I think those it is tied 4-4 because but the things the Green Room has over Good Time, I don't think they're the most important parts of the film, because I would give Green Room an 8 out of 10. So I think I'm gonna have to say Good Time wins this in a very close, nail biting match. This death match is definitely A24 has really been putting out some really excellent films, and I definitely think between these two, I highly recommend both. They're enjoyable. I'm gonna give Good Time the nod here. It definitely pulls it out. So your winner is ding 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 ding, Good Time. Thank you for tuning in. Rotten Apples Film Review, Movie Deathmatch. I'm your host, John Galligan. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.